Hi, my special beings. Welcome back to my channel A to Z Therapy with Smriti. I'm Smriti Mishra, pursuing first year occupational therapy from Delhi University. As you have guessed by now, that this video is going to be a super insightful conversation about rehabilitation psychology as a psychologist, as a special educator, and lot more into as we dive deep into the conversation, you will learn about how the rehab team works, what's the work profile, and the importance of a psychologist and special educator. Happy listening, guys.
Everyone. So today we have someone really special with us, someone who has more than 15 plus years of experience in the field of rehabilitation as a psychologist and as a special educator. So let's welcome Durga Prasad Mishra and let's hear his story as a psychologist, rehabilitation psychologist, and as a special educator from himself. Hello, sir, and kindly please
Hello.
introduce yourself and your work profile as you've done through the years.
Hello. It's a very nice platform you have started. And so you are talking about something which I feel always close to my heart. So psychology and special education, these are the two things which I have, I don't know, I have born with, but I have been brought up with all through my years of more than 15 years plus experience. So when I started my career as a psychologist, so there was nothing. So, but before that, when I went for the educational part, that was purely unorthodox.
Yeah. In those
So
eras
rather,
of in those eras of late 90s and early 2000s. Yeah.
yes. So at that time, I started my studying psychology in 1993. So in my plus two, that was my enlightenment, first way of understanding myself started.
Yeah.
So at that time, it was the psychology as a subject as well as a gender stereotype. So a lot of people from my area or my friends told, what subject you are taking? So I told, let me take this. This is what I feel I can excel in that area. So I finished my inter. Then I started my honors in psychology in BJP College in Odisha. So that time, I think we were only two boys amongst all the girls at that time. So from then onwards, I had a lot of enthusiasm and understanding about human beings and interpersonal and intrapersonal relationship.
Okay.
So from there onwards, I started enjoying my subject and I practically tried to understand all this. Then started my area of special education. So I finished my MPhil in psychology in 2000. Then I did my diploma in special education in 2001. So at that time, we are only, I was only having children with intellectual disability. And I never saw at that point of time children with autism. So when I started my career, so it was mostly with children with CP, cerebral palsy, children with intellectual disability, and some syndromic cases. So all through my years, I have enjoyed being in this field, and I have learned a lot of lot of things from parents, from children, from other therapists, because this is a field of cooperation.
Yeah.
So I can't do everything in my part. So I have to take hold of everyone. So what I understand being in this field and what motivated me to do every time best is when I see children, I feel motivated. I feel always to get connected with the child, and I always try to do something, so bring out some change in the child's life. If I can do it, I feel my day is done. So I appreciate both of you, as this is a platform You are giving me an opportunity to talk about and share to the general public. That's a fantastic endeavor. Please continue.
Thank you. Now moving on. So you said that there was so much gender stereotype those days, and it was so unorthodox, and even there was not so much awareness in those eras regarding even mental health or psychology as a career. So how do you think that it has evolved through the years? These days, psychology is a very demanding subject. Everyone is like the toppers take it. So how is you think it has changed over the years?
It has changed drastically, I say. There is a paradigm shift in the attitude of the people. There was a time all people will go into the 1, 2, or 3 area of a professionalism. But nowadays people have changed because they have found what is the origin of all the problems that are coming out.
Yeah.
So as we know, mind and body. So when a body is holding an unhealthy mind, so that will lead to a lot of problems. When a body is holding a positive mind, even if the body is not healthy, so that leads to a lot of self-healing, what we say. So that has evolved, and a lot of thinking has gone into it. It is not the traditional way of treating the same person, or traditional way of rather we say, we use the word treat in the parlance of doctor.
Yeah.
But in our area, it is not treating, it is therapy.
Yeah.
Therapy is a professional relationship to understand a client. So it has evolved. Yes, it has evolved because of our self-understanding and because of the opportunity it came across. There was a time, at that point of time, colleges, they don't have those psychology subjects. Now every college in now, you will see psychology subjects, honors and higher order courses.
Yeah.
Before that, there was no. So it has evolved. Lot of psychological experiences, lot of psychological experiment research. Now it is going on. So people are getting to know about, no, there are connections between body and mind. There is a holistic approach of therapy rather.
Yeah. So with awareness comes, a paradigm shift also in the practice, as you also mentioned. So how do you feel that as a rehabilitation psychologist or as a special educator, how do you feel the work profile has changed for you?
Yes, there are a lot of changes in my work profile. When I started my career, it was just a couple of children having issues. But right now, that has changed a lot, because it is not the child we are going to do something with, it is the family. So when we are not able to understand the family dynamics from where the child is coming to us, it is not going to do any benefit to the child, neither to the family.
Yeah.
So that understanding has changed. So before that, it is mental health means the person himself. No, it is not the person himself. It is the environment which is contributing that factor, or which is supporting him. So that has changed a lot. Understanding have come, and the way of thinking has come. Before that, when I started my career, at that time, there were no professionals. You will see the professionals, they be present in the higher big cities, but in remote places, there are no professionals. That has changed a lot. Now, when I work in Odisha, there were government programs they started, CBRs, community-based rehabilitation, and lots of rural area support they started. So that has changed a lot of children's life.
So, as you said that, it is something, children and working with children has something which is so close to your heart. So can you just enumerate a quick case that just, changed something within you, or it just touched your heart with the improvement maybe, or something that's worth remembering for you?
There are so many cases which I always keep to myself. One of the case, when I came back to Hyderabad, I got a child who is who was having profound hearing loss, and he was also not speaking. So what we in our derogatory terms we use is purely deaf and dumb. So when the parent came to me that the child has this and he has passed up to 8th grade. So I was very happy to see him. 8th grade, how did you manage? So after that, I took up a challenge, and their perspective was he has to pass his 10th grade so that he can successfully rehabilitated in the society. So when I started teaching him, it was really tough how to teach him. So I found out ways how to make him understand. So first I did the assessment. I found he has a normal mind, normal intelligence. So from non-verbal test of intelligence, I found he has a normal mind. His intelligence, IQ, abstract reasoning was there. Only the thing is he was not getting the proper support. So almost 2 years I spent with him, and I wrote to the board to give him concessions which nobody knew about it. The children with hearing impairment, they have concessions in the board.
Yeah.
So he passed his 10th grade, and I thought that he has a lot of interest. When during the process, I found that he has a lot of interest in cooking.
Okay.
So I planned I counseled the parents to go for hotel management. So he did his hotel management. Then he passed his hotel management some couple of years back. Okay. Now he has his own bakery center in Hyderabad.
Okay, wonderful.
That was one of my very successful. I feel really happy about it, and still I know the parents since almost more than a decade. Mm-hmm. So the parents, unfortunately, he lost his father some couple of years back. So still he is in touch with me. Nobody can understand what he says, but I can.
Mm. That relation is something which is so different. And now moving on to, just coming back to this time of pandemic where everyone is going through this major transition. And if we just leave the IT professionals and the main front health line workers, everyone is having this major shift. So how do you feel that as a counselor or as a special educator or as a therapist, how do you see the shift, the transition, and how do you feel about this new teletherapy era? Like this is going to be an era of teletherapy and online consultations and everything. So how do you look upon to that?
So I always feel like every day is a learning graph for me. Mm-hmm. So when this pandemic started, we didn't know that how to go about it.
Yeah.
So what to do? Parents also were at loss. What to do? They also don't know. We also never studied this online therapy or teletherapy, how to do. We didn't have any protocols. And particularly in India, there is no absolutely any protocol.
Yeah.
So we devised our protocol, how to get connected with the child through online. So what happened? Initially, when we started, it was a struggle. It was purely a struggle. Some of the parents, they thought that this will not work. But I tried to counsel every one of them. We also know that it is not going to work. But let's give it a try.
Yeah.
Then how will you manage his behaviors? How will you manage his anxiety? How will you manage your anxiety? So in that way, I will counsel the parents. Almost all the parents, they are in now online therapies. Because of that counseling and because of we learn from each other how to handle the child even if we are not directly touching the child. Because our field is a direct contact field. We have to hold the child. We'll have to touch the child. That feedback system has to be there. Yes, we know that online therapies are not much effective as the direct therapies, but still in this world of crisis, we are justifying every hour or every minute of the child's time when the child is there with us.
Okay. So do you think that we can't say that the effectiveness maybe is because everyone is learning, and we can't just say that okay, we are 100% effective with the teletherapy, but how do you look up the with future how much we can improve, and as upcoming therapists or as upcoming counselors, how can children who are studying maybe right now, how can they improve with the teletherapy and all?
So we have to change according to the time changes. Always, I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, everything looks like, how can I do it? Until we try it, we are not going to learn. That should be our approach.
Mm-hmm.
And that must be the approach of the parent. If we are genuinely talking to the parents, then the parents and children will get connected. What I always believe in.
Mm-hmm.
If I say that, I know this is not going to happen, but let us give a try. If I am wholeheartedly doing with the child, definitely the child will get connected. Now also, what I have done, when I do behavioral interventions for children with autism. So 2 years children, 2 years, 2.5 or 2.2, 2.3, they come running to the camera when they hear my voice. I didn't do any magic.
Mm-hmm.
But that fun, they are able to relate how they were playing with me when they were directly coming. Mm-hmm. So if we are genuinely interested in the child and interested in the child's development, and we have communicated to the parent, definitely they are going to understand. And definitely it brings about results. Maybe the protocols will be different, but I always believe in a personal protocol. When I develop, when I touch the child, when I talk to the child's attention is there on me. So if I believe in that, then definitely I can make a difference in child's life. Always I believe it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now coming to the future, how do you look at the future of the whole field of rehabilitation, and especially as the rehabilitation counselor in terms of career option and the growth, and what's new that can come up in the future?
Yes, there are. See, India is 1.3 billion people.
Mm-hmm.
So there are no doctors. Forget about counselors. We are hardly, if you go to the RCI website, hardly there are some lakhs people. Some lakhs people for 1.3 billion people. Just today, I received one information on WhatsApp groups or somewhere. There is 15 lakhs rehabilitation counselors are required in India. 15 lakhs. We are just a couple of lakhs here.
Mm-hmm.
So because of this pandemic, what has changed? It has given a lot of stress, anxiety for all of us. Yeah. It is not the parents, it is the children are going through. Because they didn't expect that their childhood will be killed by this type of pandemic.
Yeah.
So there is a huge, enormous demand once this pandemic is over or during this pandemic. So there is a huge demand all across globe. Huge area of work, research, publications, lot of areas are. The future is really bright in this way.